Warning, this is a joke. I've never eaten lion's legs. What's that? You love my ethics t-shirt? Check out the description box below for a link and discount code. Handsome ass Kyle says, I assume that prior to being vegan, you promoted a heavily animal-based diet, and the regret that you feel about that fuels your activism. Do you know, I've never actually considered that, although as a PT, there did become a time when I could no longer write nutrition plans, with chicken and things in for people. It's really my own consumption of animal products which fuels me. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you'll know I ate 10 kilos of chicken a week. I drank 42 pints of milk a week. I'd eat tuna, eggs, steak, use whey protein, all the typical bodybuilding stuff. I was responsible for so many animals losing their lives. And yeah, that is very definitely what fuels me. Anurag Sharma assumes that I fart a lot. There was certainly a transitionary phase where that was a thing. I soon got up to eating 3 cans of legumes a day, beans, chickpeas, lentils, that sort of thing. And it was a little bit horrendous for a time. I went at it a little bit too aggressively, I now realise. But very soon you develop enough of the Prevotella bacteria strains that process the fibre that really doesn't become an issue. And I would say I fart a lot less than I ever used to. And people accusing plant products of being a problem, more often than not, it's really a fact that they're stuck behind meat in the colon, in the digestive tract. So whole plant foods take 12 to 16 hours, mouth to anus. Meat can be stuck in there for 4 or 5 days. And in fact, I think that is the average transit time for omnivorous eaters and their passage of food. And so, yeah, you've got things. We need things to ferment. It actually creates short chain fatty acids. It's essential for health that fermentation takes place, but we don't want it to be in there for days doing that. So really it's the meat that we need to get out. Halo Ariel assumes that I've been working out consistently for over 10 years and I've been working in fitness related jobs for the majority of my life. So I started working out really at age 15. I'm now 45, so for 30 years. Initially I started in martial arts, got into some weight training fairly early on, and I've kind of flitted back and forth between martial arts and bodybuilding. For the longest time now, I've just been focusing on bodybuilding. I've been a PT for about 8 years now, I think. Prior to that, I was a doorman for 12 years, and then I worked like retail security for a time. I'm actually at the stage now where I've been able to drop another day PTing, so I'm only going to be in the gym 3 days a week going forwards. If it continues to be the money I earned last week through social media, if it continues to go so well, pretty soon I can give up being a PT. I may keep my hand in with 1 or 2 clients just because I like working with them. It depends. I'm so drawn to being an influencer, to creating video, to reaching so many people. I really love the creative aspect and just the ability to make a difference in the world. So anyway, that's the dream. Selma M assumes that I am secretly obsessed with girly things like dolls and makeup. That better not be Selma from the gym, and not really my bag. Honest. Gerry, plant-based monster, big time supporter, so thank you for all the love, bro. He says a lot of lovely things to me, and then he's saying that I'm looking bigger now than when he started watching me. How do I feel? Have I put more weight on than a year ago? Yeah, training's been going really, really, really well. I had kind of a period where it kind of all went wrong. I'd kind of fell out of love with bodybuilding, wasn't really fussed, and then just really being an ambassador for that animal, seeing that this is the best use of me, has lit a fire under my ass. And I think that over the months and years, this nutrition, my body is really thriving on it. It's getting better and better and better. I think while we're younger, we can get away with a physiologically incorrect diet, i.e. animal products, processed foods. Into middle age like myself and older age, we're seeing the vegan athletes breaking away from the pack. It's been a huge boost to my training and my recovery. A lovely lady, possibly with a Russian name that I've no clue how to pronounce, so I'm not going to try, sorry. You like to eat sweets, help others and grow as a person. You also have a lot of lifelong friends. I actually don't like to eat sweets. In terms of growing and helping others, that is expansion and being of service. 2 of the 6 human givens, kind of like needs that we must fulfill. And these 2 are kind of known as needs of the soul. They give us like the best feeling, and it is so, so true for me, like very definitely. I'm sad to say I don't think I have any lifelong friends. I don't even have that many friends from a few years back. I think my life has taken such a detour, I was in a very negative, violent, bad lifestyle type of a life, for want of a better word. You know, and I've done a complete 180, so my kind of whole friends group has totally changed. Bit sad though, I'd like some lifelong friends. Yoglev assumes that I love my mother and spend a lot of time with her. Yeah, I love my mum a lot. Sadly, she's passed, so I can't get to spend any time with her. I used to see her regularly. We had a bit of a funny relationship in terms of like she's a really mothering type and I didn't want to be like mothered, so sparks would often fly, but you know, she knew that I really love her like no end. I wish I'd have taken more time to tell her how grateful I am for everything she did for me. Safari3299 says, you're an amazing person, man, and you do justice to the phrase, gentleness can only be expected from the strong. What a lovely comment. Thank you, brother. I think there's a lot of truth to that phrase. When I was younger, I wasn't so sure of myself, and you portray this image of, you know, trying to be the big hard man, so people like won't mess with you. If you're truly confident in yourself, you don't have to act this way, and you can be kind to everyone, you know. I would say that the most heroic thing I ever saw was my old training partner, 2014 Mr. Universe Barney Duplessis. He was competing in an auditorium full of, I was about the smallest guy there, real big meathead monsters. And the judges were taking a while to deliberate to come to their judging, like to decide who had won it. And so the MC was going to each bodybuilder in turn, asked them how the prep went, things like that, just to fill the time. Barney brought up that he did it as a vegan, and he said plant-based gains, and that's the most heroic thing I ever saw. Like, that is so brave. Like, he was risking, and you would expect like a lot of ridicule from these people. These will be the hardest people to convince that you can build a good physique on a vegan diet. But he did it. I remember when I first interviewed him for my channel, you can find the interview if you search for Mr. Universe. He said to me he would be willing to die for the cause he believes in, and I don't doubt it. Chris Barnes assumes that the first words I said to Gemma when I first met her were, "Oh God, no!" I can't remember the first words I ever said, but I do know we met in a nightclub. I was a doorman. She was working in the cloakroom and kind of on reception there. I used to have such a bad temper problem. I remember I was trying to hang my coat up. I accidentally knocked a hanger on the floor. Picked that up, went to do it again, knocked the hanger back on the floor, and I just erupted, and I kind of just smashed the whole lot of these wooden hangers, like just the whole thing, the whole room just went everywhere, just really erupted. Remember Gemma told me she needed to go in there to get free to get to the reception, and one of my doorman friends like grabbed her and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So that was about her first impression of me. Shelly Horton Palmer assumes that I am more sensitive than I look. I'd say that's hugely true, despite what I was just saying for the last assumption. I think the biggest thing is that I've learned perspectives, and I really can feel, you know, what would it be like to be in this person's shoes, this animal's hooves, you know? I guess I'm so much more confident. I know that I can look after myself. I don't need to put on like this bravado, like BS exterior. And I've really stopped caring what others think, you know? I'm just trying to be nice in the world. If someone's got a problem with me, then I think, well, the problem's with them. Like, the biggest thing I've learned in the last 3 years is to stop giving a beep what other people think of you. And so sometimes I'll show my emotion. Like, I do get upset at things. If I see something horrible that's happening, watching a film and it's really sad, I'm happy to shed a tear. I don't care what people think about that. Life's so much more interesting since. I just didn't used to feel emotions. I just used to put up this brick wall, try to tell people how hard I was. Emotions are there, feelings are there to be felt, and life is just so much richer. Lisa C assumes that I'm funny and sweet and that I like hugs. Oh, well, what a lovely thing to say. I can't argue with any of that. Yeah, with the hugging thing, you know, it's one of these 6 human givens, one of these 6 sort of needs. Love and connection. And so, yeah, if I meet any of my followers, subscribers at any events or anything, like a lot of you guys like to give hugs, and it's such a beautiful feeling. You know, some people have had a horrible time of it and they've received negativity from people, like they've given love, but they've been really hurt in many different ways, and can put people off. And a lot of people think that they don't want that, but we all need that. So if that's you, I hope that you seek help, perhaps a counsellor, whatever way to work through that, so that you can have that in your life, because it's so important. Vegan RealOne assumes that I use a 25 kilo plate as a pillow. I prefer a dumbbell because it helps support my head better. Veggie Voyager assumes that I can be shy. Yeah, I'd say that I still can. I've come on in leaps and bounds. I would say for the longest time, I was very much an introvert. I was recorded for radio as a lad at school. I think it was middle school, and I sort of froze and went bright red. I had the same thing in an English oral exam. As a lad, that's really imprinted on me that I'm, can't speak up, like I get embarrassed. I for the longest time, 40 years, I didn't want to be filmed or recorded. I had a mortal phobia of it, and I've ended up doing public speaking, being on TV, radio, obviously doing this. The YouTube thing really helped. I think as well, when I go to an event, oftentimes people are shy, but because they see me sort of put me on a pedestal and think that I'm sort of a personality or whatever you want to call it, like they're really nervy. And so I had to come out of my shell. I had to learn how to speak to people. Like I learned really to ask questions about them, make them feel comfortable. Yeah, and just being recorded, doing it myself, and then you're going up the fear pyramid, you're on someone else's channel, you're on pre-recorded radio, now we're on live radio. CBD oil has been huge as well. Link in the description if you want some CBD oil to try out. That is such a powerful anxiolytic. I did a personality test recently and it said I was 81% extroverted. But yeah, there's still that little bit in there in the back somewhere. Gerry Freeman assumes that I sneak Big Macs underneath my bed every night and that this vegan propaganda is all an act. I can categorically prove that it is not the case, simply because I just sleep on a mattress on the floor. Scott Johnston assumes that I was part of a cartel before going vegan. If I'm being honest, I was in charge of security at several different nightclubs, and I did take advantage of that, and I was a very, very naughty boy, and did certain things that I would never ever consider doing going forwards. Kathryn assumes that I'm miles happier as a vegan. Oh hell yeah, there's several reasons for that. I can tell you about a dozen or so just physiologically. When we eat animal products, the protein residues in the colon create toxins like putrescine, cadaverine, cresol, which raise your risk for anxiety, depression. Certain whole plant foods lower your monoamine oxidase, giving you more free serotonin and dopamine, etc., etc., etc. So that's number one. And secondly, I'm living a life of purpose. Again, going back to those 6 needs, I'm being of service, I'm expanding, I've got certainty because things are going so well. I've got spontaneity. I'll get to do different things because I'm not tied down to a boring old office job or something like that. Love and connection. Like I get so many kind comments from you guys. What's the 6th one? Significance. We all need to feel like we're an important part of the community, and building up all these followers and things. Obviously, you get a big feeling of that, so that's great. As well, as I sort of alluded to earlier, I've come out of my shell. I'm so much more social now. I love meeting people. Just so happy. Amy L assumes that I'm a cat person. Well, I'm certainly not a David Icke style lizard person. Yeah, we've had cats, or I've had cats all my life, with my parents formerly and just throughout relationships. I wouldn't get another cat. I feed them a complete vegan cat food. Supposedly, it's got everything it needs, for the cat to be well. So, it's got the taurine added back in, which they need to do with animal-based products anyway, because it doesn't survive heating. It's even got arachidonic acid, which I thought you couldn't even get from plants, but they source it from seaweed. So supposedly everything's in there. Our cats are flourishing, so they seem really well. But I'm kind of conscious as a nutritionist, and I promote a whole foods, plant-based diet, which I believe is species-specific for humans. And I'm very conscious I'm being a hypocrite and not feeding that to these animals that are in my care. So I'm sorry to say that I don't feel I could own another one. I know you can get rescues and things, but going forwards, if we have any companion animals, I think they'll be vegan animals. And we'll make sure that we've got loads of space and that they've got everything they need. Scolionophobia TV assumes that I'm that one guy that has to yell at every rep in the gym. And J. Angel assumes that I'm on a journey that I never expected and that I love every minute of it. You big, compassionate hunk of muscle. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, I was on the total opposite end of the healing spectrum, the compassion spectrum. I was acting out of fear, you know, and I wanted to be the biggest, meanest, most dangerous bloke in the club. I was very much based in materialism. I found veganism. Through veganism, I considered if I don't want to harm a chicken I never met, why do I want to harm like my fellow man? I've seen the health implications of the diet I used to eat, the diet I currently eat, you know, how it can reverse 5 or 6 of the leading killers, prevent 14 of them, treat most of them. You know, I really want to help save people's lives, like give them less suffering, more years in their life and more life in their years. And I've had to grow up here, come out of my shell and put myself out there in the spotlight. And it's been nothing but amazing for me. And I'm so grateful, particularly grateful for you guys for supporting me all this time and making it all worthwhile. I assume that you expect me to do a skit related to this video. I'm not doing it.